Hi, I hope everyone's doing okay today. It's Monday, April 6th. Crazy thing, it's April. I saw a tweet the other day for myself a few years back talking about the Masters, the NCAA, March Madness, which obviously goes into April, and all these different things going on, curling, hockey. There's so many different things that normally are going on in April for people like me who basically my life revolves around work, or I should say this in the right order: family, work, sports, right? I mean, that's basically what my life revolves around from a simplistic standpoint. And you've cut out a lot of family because I can't see them from not being able to travel, and sports because, well, there aren't any. So it's very interesting to see, how different people's lives are affected, and even my own life personally, from what we spend our time doing. I know my wife and I binge watched All American on Netflix over the weekend. That was pretty good show if anyone's looking for something to watch. But into what we're talking about today. So today we're talking about how the CARES Act affected your ability to take loans from your 401k. In order to do that, I'm going to utilize two articles. One titled CARES Act: Workers can now borrow up to $100,000 from their 401k from thestraight.com, and what you need to know about 401k loans before you take one from thebalance.com. As always, I'll include the links to these articles in my posts so that you can go and see the sites at which I'm getting my information or reviewing information if you so choose. Otherwise, hopefully today's conversation brings you value, and I appreciate you taking the time to participate in the conversation. I call it a conversation because I hope you take the time to not only watch, listen to the video or the podcast, but also comment, reach out to me, post, whatever it may be. What makes it a conversation is when you actually interact, and I always appreciate and love when people are willing to reach out, even if it's to correct me. It doesn't bother me one bit. It reminds me people are actually in fact watching. I'm not just talking to myself. So getting into the conversation, CARES Act: Workers can now borrow up to $100,000 from their 401k. Prior to the passage of the CARES Act, retirement plan participant loans were limited to $50,000 or one half of the participant's vested account balance, whatever one is more. Now, for those who are wondering, a vested account balance is the amount of your money within your 401k account that you actually have access to. So what often happens with many companies, you may sign up and work there for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, but it doesn't mean all the money in your 401k is vested. Oftentimes, in a strategy to encourage you to stay at one place rather than move from job to job and company to company, a company will have a vested a balance or a vested structure in which maybe the first year you work there, I'm just making these numbers up because every company is different, but the first year you work there, maybe 10% of your account balance is vested, meaning you have access to it. So if you leave, you get to keep and bring it with you. Maybe the next year it's 30%, next year it's 50, next year 70, next year 100. And this is really important to know because I've seen many times where people will have, let's say, a $100,000 account balance from their 401k, and they leave without looking at their vesting schedule, and they only get to take $40,000 with them because only 40% of their account balance was vested. All right, so it's extremely important to understand the difference between your 401k account balance, and the vested balance within your 401k or other retirement accounts. All right, so going back, for a period commencing with the date of the passage of the Act, March 27, 2020, and lasting for 180 days after, the CARES Act doubles the amount that a participant can borrow to the lesser of $100,000 or 100% of your vested account balance in the plan, whatever one is less. So you can now either take $100,000 or 100% of your vested account balance as a loan from your 401k or other retirement accounts that allow it. For plan participants with outstanding loans at the time of the CARES Act is passed, any payments due through December 31st, 2020 can be deferred for 1 year. So for those of you who already have a loan from your 401k, you can defer those repayments or the payments you owe for up to 1 year. All right. So you can, and they say you can watch a video if you like to learn more. The video is only about a minute and a half, so I don't know how helpful it's going to be. But continuing on, what you need to know about 401k loans before you take one is the second article that I'm walking through here, and I think it's extremely important. All right, so some of this will be touched on the article, but I think it's extremely important for us to understand our 401ks are one of many tools for our retirement planning. All right, your 401k plan is just a tool for your retirement. It's not the only thing available or the only thing necessary for you to prepare for your retirement. So keep in mind that when you take a loan from your 401k, you are decreasing your potential retirement because you are taking that money off of the growth compounding curve. Any money that's loaned out isn't growing, which decreases your retirement because it has less time to grow, which means there's less money there for you to retire off. All right, so just keep in mind that it's very important to build your retirement plan utilizing multiple tools, not just one. All right, so borrowing from your 401k isn't the best idea, especially if you don't have any other savings to put towards your retirement years. However, when it comes to a financial emergency, like many are dealing with right now with the COVID-19 chaos, your 401k can offer loan terms that you won't be able to find at any bank. Before you decide to borrow, make sure you fully understand the process and potential ramifications. Below are 7 things you need to know about 401k loans before you take one. Keep in mind, when I say 401k, and like the article does, it's not only referring to 401k. There's 403b, there's many retirement accounts. 401k is just the most common, so we often refer to it as the one and only, but really there's many. It's just a title, okay? So if you have a tax-deferred retirement account, it's possible you can get loans. You just have to maybe talk to your HR person if you're desperate for cash right now. What are the 401k loan limits? Your 401k is subject to legal loan limits set by law. The maximum amount you can normally borrow is $50,000 or 50% of your vested account balance. Right now it's $100,000 or 100% of your vested account balance, whichever is less or more, or yeah. So your vested balance is the amount that belongs to you. If your company matches some of your contributions, you may have to stay with your employer for a set amount of time before the employer contributions belong to you. That's the vesting schedule. Your retirement plan may also require minimum loan amounts. Repaying the 401k loan. Your loan must be repaid through payroll deductions, and repayments will be automatically taken from your paycheck after taxes. This is extremely important because keep in mind, any money in a tax-deferred retirement account, like a traditional 401k, is tax-deferred. You have not paid taxes. All right, so when you take a loan from that money, you now have to pay back the loan with after-tax money. So you're paying taxes once right there to pay back the loan. And then when you get to retirement, and pull out the money, you have to pay taxes at that time because it's a tax-deferred account. So that's twice you've paid taxes on the same dollar. All right? And then on top of that, if you want to keep going, the taxable income you take from tax-deferred retirement accounts. All right, so let me say that again. The taxable income you take in retirement from tax-deferred accounts affects your Social Security taxes. So that means you could pay taxes 3 times on this money. Plus, it affects your Medicare costs. All right, so by taking 401k loans, keep in mind if needed, it's necessary. I understand. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I just want you to be aware of what happens. It may cause you to pay taxes 3 times on basically your money rather than 1 time, which is our legal obligation. All right, so the longest repayment term allowed is 5 years. Though there are exceptions like right now when they let you defer for up to a year because of the CARES Act. Most repayment plans are structured as monthly or quarterly payments, and some retirement plans do not allow you to contribute to the plan while you're making repayments, which is very important to be aware of because that means you're decreasing your retirement by not contributing. Interest payments, unless you're saving that money elsewhere. Interest payments. You will pay yourself interest. The interest rate on your 401k loan is determined by the rules in your 401k plan, but it is typically set up as a formula of some sort, which you should be able to find. Although you pay interest back to yourself, taking a 401k loan hurts your future retirement savings most of the time due to 1, the money you've loaned out is not growing while it's loaned out. 2, that the loan repayments may affect your ability to save while you're paying back your loan, so that decreases your retirement. And 3, the extra taxes you pay may affect your lifestyle today or your ability to save elsewhere. Are the 3 I thought of? There might be more to that, so feel free to pitch in or let me know. Caveats to borrowing from your 401k. Some 401k plans, or retirement plans, I should say, actually I should say 401k or retirement tools, because these are not plans, they're just tools, but allow withdrawal in the form of a loan, but some do not. You must check your retirement plan administrator or investment company to find out if your plan allows you to borrow against your account balance. You can usually find their contact information on your statement. When your employer set up a retirement plan, they decide whether the plan would allow loans or not. Borrowing from your old retirement plans. If you are no longer working for a company where your 401k plan or other retirement plan resides, you may not take a loan. You may transfer the balance from your former employer to your new plan, and if your current employer allows for loans, then you can borrow from there. If you transfer your old retirement plan to an IRA, an individual retirement account, you cannot borrow from the IRA. Again, you cannot borrow from individual retirement accounts, also known as IRAs. It is best to know all the rules before you cash out or transfer an old retirement plan. Using your 401k loan wisely. Research a 401k loan and research on retirement loans and defaults shows 39% of loans are used to repay debts. So you're taking a debt to pay a debt, and 32% are used for home repairs or improvements. So when so those 32% are trading today's lifestyle needs, aka home repairs and improvements, for future retirement income. Other major uses included automobiles, college tuition, medical costs, and vacation or wedding expenses. So basically the point I would make here is you have to decide for yourself, is it important to trade lifestyle today for retirement lifestyle, right? Because no matter what, if you take away your retirement money to pay for stuff today, you're therefore decreasing retirement. Late repayment is potentially costly. At the time you take a retirement plan loan, you pay no taxes on the amount received. However, if you don't repay the loan on time, taxes and penalties may be due. If you leave the employment while you have an outstanding loan, your remaining loan balance is considered a distribution at that time, unless you repay it within the time allotted, which used to be 60 days, but now is until your federal tax return is due. Keep in mind, if you take an early distribution from a retirement account, especially if it's tax deferred, not only do you have to pay the income taxes due on that money this year, all of it, let's say you take a $100,000 loan and then you quit your job or leave your job or get fired, you now have to pay back the $100,000, or you have to take that as taxable income this year plus pay a 10% tax penalty for taking your money too soon. If the loan is not repaid according to a specific repayment terms, then any remaining outstanding loan balance can be considered a distribution, which, like I just said, if that's before you're 59 and a half, it's a 10% tax penalty plus owing taxable income. So hopefully that gives you a better idea. Like I said, it's a lot of information, but the basic premise of everything I just said, it comes down to this. If you have liquid funds available to utilize instead of taking a retirement plan loan, do that first. Right, and that's a strong reminder to all of us why it's important to have safe savings built up. But if you don't and you're desperate for cash, a 401 or other retirement plan loan may be a good option for you, as long as you're aware of all the things that come with it. All right, so thank you for taking the time to listen to the conversation today. Please let me know what you think by reaching out, commenting on the posts, and or sharing with a friend. I appreciate your time, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks. Bye.